Jules, how does being a designer affect you being an entrepreneur?
I think you start out with a comfort with ambiguity. That first you really want a problem that has some boundaries on it as a designer, but you're comfortable that you have no idea what the answer would be from the start. You just want to make sure you have a problem that's worth working on. And then I think most designers probably if they're good, have a combination of humility and confidence about their instincts in the approach to their work. And the humility is important because you know you're not designing for yourself, and you know that you're going to be surprised by what people say and show that they need or they want. So if you bring sort of an open-minded approach and you're willing to learn, that requires a bit of humility, and that's a powerful tool in learning what the answer to that cool problem might be. But then there's confidence too, because you can't, as a designer, ever create genius or magic by testing it to death. You have to know, seek the right feedback, ask the right questions, but then have the instinct to recognize the answers. And that's something that you learn in design school, because you start from day one putting your own ideas and suggestions against a problem up on a wall and have people critique you right from day one. So you get used to being able to come up with an answer that has some reasonable defense, and sometimes it's based somewhat on your instinct. And I think all good brands originate from some form of instinct, and you don't have to be a designer to do that. So I guess those two things most come to mind. The next thing that comes to mind is almost any complex business problem has, I think of it as almost like a grid, like a 16-square grid, 4x4. And if a business has the complexity of, say, processes around customer service and distribution and maybe manufacture, however you're going to get the product to people, whether you're writing software or actually physically producing something, there are all these pieces to the puzzle that add up to hopefully a cohesive whole that delivers an experience. I mean, that's the end goal always, an experience for a customer that makes sense at every point of contact. And so when I'm, like right now, forming a business, I think of each of those sort of 16 buckets need to be addressed cohesively, but I'm okay with sometimes some of them lagging a little bit. Like I can't really think of everything all at once, so I might not be thinking of the exact right plastic when I'm designing a product. I know it'll be plastic, I don't know which one. So, for instance, in my current business, one of my issues is sort of customer service, returns, things like that. And it's kind of lagging. If I think of this like 16 square grid, there's some towers that are rising faster than others, and that's okay. I'll get to the other ones. I know what the overall picture has to be. I know where that square fits. And as a designer, you would do that. You would say to yourself, okay, let's say I designed a laptop computer in 1981 when I was in design school. That didn't exist, right?
Wow.
So I have to think power supply. I have to think the mechanisms of how this thing's going to fold up and close. I have to think display. I have to think software. They didn't really have that option at the time, but you would today. You'd think a lot about that. I was just the hardware side. But so you think about all those things at once, but you can't do it all at once. So you're comfortable with knowing this bucket needs to be addressed. I'll get there. And it's kind of similar to business. I don't know if I said ambiguity. Did I say that too? I think ambiguity, living with that for a while, is really important. That I found that in my last startup. It's really hard to come in and not know what your business model really is. That was the case. That's what I found. And the founder, the CEO, said to me, wow, you've got a really good personality for this. I said, it's just like being a designer. Like, I know we'll figure out the answer, but I've got to live through 3 months or so getting there. And you sort of go home at night and sleep on a few because it's really hard to have absolutely no clue. But you know that you're just going to sleep on it so that you can get some sleep, but it might not be the right answer. Overnight, it'll probably turn out to be the wrong answer. And so designers think like that. So it's great if you can think that way as a business person, too.